Hello, my name is Bryce Campbell, and I am doing my informative speech. The topic that I decided to do my informative speech on is the sport of disc golfing. Many of you may not have heard of this, but it is one of the fastest growing sports in the world right now. It is very heavily played in European countries as well as the United States, and it is spread throughout 40 other countries in the world. In this speech, I will give you just a brief history of how it was created, the companies and how they create the discs, the different styles of discs, and some things that you would need if you were to get started in the sport. First, disc golfing started in 1966 by a man named Ed Headrick, an employee of the Wham-O company who patented what was once called the Plutonian platter and named it the Frisbee, or the Frisbee disc. In 1975, Ed created the disc golf basket, which is a pole with chains hanging off of it that catches the discs as you throw them into it. In 1974, Ed Headrick sought out the Los Angeles County Parks and Recreation Department. In March 19, 1976, the Parks and Recreation Department let Ed build his first disc golf course at the Oak Grove Park in Los Angeles County. And that was how disc golfing got started. Discs are made of plastics, some heavy, some light. Some are infused with small air pockets to make them lighter and bigger disc. This allows the thrower to throw them with less strain at a slower speed than if the disc was full plastic and heavier. The disc thrower would have to throw the disc at a higher speed if the disc was full and not hollowed out. There are over 4,000 registered PDGA or Professional Disc Golfer Association courses in the United States. Innova is one of the biggest disc golfing companies in the United States, and they are the primary makers of the baskets that you would see at each course. Indiana has its own course at the IUP Co-op or College Lodge. It is a par 18 with holes varying from 120 feet to about 800 feet. It is one of my favorite places to play. There is also another course at Getty Park in Indiana and at Pine Ridge Lodge in Blairsville. These are just a few of the courses in the surrounding area. There are several towards Pittsburgh, and there are several down towards Altoona. Wham-O was one of the first companies to create the Frisbee disc, although they are not as prevalent as some of the other names in the business. They are one of the first to create a designated disc for the sport. There's over 10 large producers of these discs and many other independent and smaller companies. There are companies such as Innova, Prodigy, Discraft, Dynamic Disc, and several others. Some newer companies are coming out, one of which is called Latitude 64, which is a very widely used disc from what I am seeing. There is also companies in Pittsburgh that custom make discs for individuals as well. Each disc is different. Each disc, however made as similar as possible, is still going to fly a different pattern, but companies tend to try to keep the same typical pattern for each disc. There are a few discs that I would recommend when starting: a driver and a putter. That is all you need. If you desire to get farther into the sport, then you can get more discs. However, when starting, I would not recommend investing large amounts of money. I have 8 discs, and it is more than enough. This is a driver. All these discs are roughly the same size, and they're weighted similar in ounces. This disc, I believe, is 172 ounces. It is a heavier disc. It is a driver that flies very straight. It has a chamfered edge on the bottom and a hollowed out bottom. It is my straightest flying driver that I own. There are several other discs here, and if you can see these numbers down here, each one stands for something different. It would stand for the way that the disc flies, whether it flies left, whether it flies right, whether it fades out or fades in. There are mid-range drivers, which take less force and allow you to throw with more ease. There's mid-range approach discs, which have less of a chamfer and more of a rounded edge, and a slight lip on the bottom. These are very straight flying discs. This is a putter. This is one of the other discs that I would recommend a beginner getting when trying to start disc golfing. Very rounded edge, very straight flying, and very light. It allows you to throw short distances with extreme accuracy. The disc has no different flight patterns, and they all typically fly short and straight. This is my informative speech on disc golfing. I hope it has helped you understand the sport a little bit more, and I hope that maybe some of you will go out and try it. Thank you.